Hey folks, Nick Tuckert here with the Historical Fencing Guild. I apologize for being a couple minutes late. I had forgotten to take a medicine that I usually take right before I stream, and I had to go dig it out. There were some shenanigans with the drop pill. That being said, we're good. Before we get into the program, I want to shout out our good friends over at the Independent Creator Directory. That is IndieCD.org, your one-stop shop for the best and the brightest authors, artists, and musicians. If you want to hire someone to help make your seasons brighter and you want to shop small, this is the place to do it. Now, we are also made possible by sales of the Simple Sword, the Fighting Axe, and the Simple Spear, all part of my ongoing series of Western martial arts manuals designed to help you go from having never handled a sword to teaching the art to others. Now, today's a special day. Before we get into anything else, I've been working on other projects over here. I have been doing a bit of snooping around the lovely interwebs because the holidays are coming and we are fast approaching the time where if you're ordering something for your beloved for the sword person in your life, and maybe you're not sure. So I've been perusing different things to help do a guide. Now, especially with a program like this where I'm just going through, my banner's not up. There we go. I'm just going through doing a bit of shopping and such. We can, let's see, window. What we can do, there we go. That's much better. We're almost there. I'm having a bit of technical difficulty. Give me just a second. Grab all this, throw that over there, and then I can get into some things if it lets me. Yay. Okay, sorry about that. Now, if you have questions related to fencing, sword fighting, other types of shenanigans, feel free to hit me up if you have discussions you want on any tactics, situational awareness. We've done a lot of practical defense stuff. We're going to do a lot more of it. I have the wrong glasses on. And we can make this go. I am having one of those days. It's an adaptation day, and we'll get through it. But let me bring some stuff up here. And actually, let me go through your chats to make sure everything is groovy. And what do we have here? Foxy coming through at evening, folks. Hey, Foxy. And Thesis, good. I was just thinking about you, Thesis. We are having some technical difficulties, so let me deal with that in just a second. There we go. And there we go. Maybe. That should help. Due to the weather, things are being very problematic, so we will hold out best we can. And we're joined by the lovely Sarah. Sarah, good evening, Sarah. If things actually come up. Okay, we may have to do this. Okay, my system just couldn't handle having 3 websites open at the same time. Because I don't see anything else going that should really draw. Let's try that. There we go. Sorry, guys. Evening. Wow, that's interesting because to me, I couldn't see Sarah's comment. Good evening. And hi, Cindy. Glad you made it through the door. Hey, Cindy. And no, Nichols, I covered that. I'm sorry. Once in a while, he runs a little late. Figured something might have come up at the last second. Yeah, unfortunately, because I have an 8 o'clock medicine that I have to take. Actually, I have a pile of them. I often get here, forget, and then I go. But if I don't take them, I'm in really bad shape. So thank you. Good to know, Foxy. Thank you. And I'm sorry. Hope you can warm up. And Cindy's offering you a blanket. Tune into tune into this program now, and let's wraps up in another one. Just bundle up. Keep the Historical Fencing Guild lights on. Patreon.com. It really does help. Thinking about me? Yes, I was, and I will have to go to, because I was actually thinking you and your family in part. So we'll get there. Hard part is keeping the chewing on them. The blankets, I mean. Okay, and find all the Historical Fencing Guilds right here at the Historical Fencing Guild. Okay, so we are back in our rhythm. Sorry about 5 minutes of blundering. They happen. We have, and it goofed the system up again. So let's see if we can get this to work this time. Okay, share. Now, part of looking for gear is figuring out what's the best deal versus the most quality. Now, in my defense, I do have a link down in the description. That is my affiliate link for Purple Heart Armory, aka looks like something this. And what that does is I want to say 2% of any of your sales. It's 1 or 2%. But it's much more important that I have the capacity to interact with them from a position of, if they know their customers are coming through me, when I say, hey, could you consider making a sword like this, or we really like this, could you do X or Y to it? We can. And there's some really interesting things I wanted to bring up. And as I said, I was thinking about our dear friend Thesis. Not only was I thinking, as I fixed on the scroll where my lovely Patreon members are listed every show, basically all the time, the gear, first person I was thinking of was actually Thesis. So we'll go through the line, and huge thanks to Off in the Woods, Frog G, Ronald Rain, Bladed Thesis, Brian K. Morris, I don't know who Michael was, Cindy Kep, Steve Augusta, Don Dulas, and Angelina Vicara Link. Anyway, and again, if I mispronounce anyone's name, please correct me. But let's add this to the stage. Cool. I'm over here because we're going to start quick and efficiently. We're going to go right into Chinese culture because I was thinking about Thesis. Now, yeah, that's illegible on the screen. We'll worry about moving things over because I don't want to cover anything up. As we scroll through, we have seen several different trainers, but as I recall, our friend Thesis has been looking for a Ming Jin trainer. And if I am paying attention, which I believe I am, this should be something he would like. 35. Okay, so it's a 28 in a little bit because he works in centimeters. Inch blade, 5.3 inch grip. So it's a little short, but that's not bad. Octagonal guard. Now, when you see it, this is the format he uses to the cutter that cuts it out of the polypropylene, ultra high density polypropylene, I believe, HDPE. And but I saw that it was a Ming trainer, and I thought he might appreciate that. So that was the first thing I saw, thinking, especially for Thesis. So people looking to shop for Thesis on a budget, $34 plus shipping and handling is not terrible. There's also the Keen Guard and the Ming Guard trainers. I'm sorry, Han. Why did I say? I read it. That's not Ming. That's Han. That is closer to being a Han Guard. My brain farted. And yeah, at least you're giving me room to admit it. And then the Ming Youth is back. Now I'll point out that it's 22, and it is lightweight. So once again, if someone doesn't have one of these, 23.5-inch blade, 30-inch overall, 1 pound weight. Our shorter members could use something like this to drill with and actually lightly spar. You will find that having a weapon that fits you both grip-wise, weight-wise, and blade length-wise, remembering that, one second, in case there's anybody here who doesn't know, the way to check if a sword fits you, let me get one of my trainers out of the colossal mess that I have. Do I have any actual sword trainers in reach? I do. I have a polypropylene gin. This is actually very close to proper. You don't want anything longer than from your outstretched fingers to your center line, because you want to be able to fully draw. Now, I've mentioned that. I actually quite like this guy. This is the second model that I got through Amazon. But I want to say that puts this at about a 32-inch blade. Maybe 30. Anyway, not bad for me. The grip is a bit round, so it's not one of my favorites. But getting back on the subject at hand, let's try something like this. This guy will fit with a 28-inch blade. So if we have a 28-inch blade, and I'm sorry, 24-inch, 23.5. So you have to, I know what's happening, 23.5 blade, but with the guard gap being so thick, you have to add the difference. So I'd say that functions as about a 26 to 28. I have to do the math to fully calculate that. But okay, let's say it's a 24. Okay. Let me do a quick bit of math. That means it's definitely going to be comfortable for our shorter members, because someone as short as 4 foot tall, theoretically, if they're proportional, that would fit. As some of us have more interference on a draw, that factors in. So I really think a weapon like this would be very, very good for someone like Foxy. I think a weapon like this would be very good as it's much lighter, as it's much lighter, as something to be comfortable for Kitty, especially if she were to dual wield them. You will come up to this blade size quite frequently. So I wanted to put that up, and I literally, it's one of the first things I thought about. I muted you. How are you making noise? One moment. So professional today. It's telling me I have no email, no phone. Anyway, that's fine. But I also noticed the Eastern Zhao Dynasty trainer, which for a Chinese short sword at $24 is not bad. So again, I think that might be something that Thesis might really enjoy. And let's see, helping to get paid. Then the snazzy art, so awesome. Cindy is amazing. Pizza in oven and back in my blankets. I'll take any Dynasty Jin trainer, but I have a Han and King right now. If I could find a Tang, that would be excellent. Yes, you did, Kitty. I was just thinking, because I many years ago was working with a friend of mine with a background in ballet, but she had very limited grip strength. So we were trying to figure out how to incorporate her natural body movements in from ballet into something she could both train with and theoretically use. So options for a lighter weapon that, especially if you're dual wielding, made me think of the Jin trainer. Also, because a 24-inch blade is a very common blade size. See, this is where it bothers me. I made a layout to get out of my own way. There we are. Ha ha! So, let me just get rid of this for a moment. And we're back here. Yay. I saw that, thought it was good. Saw a couple deals I wanted to bring up. I need to acquire a saber to use in competition. The blade needs to be able to sustain its own weight. Okay, I need to know, do you need steel or plastic? What your budget is? And the blade needs to be able to sustain. The blade can't be wobbling around, is what you're saying. Because you're saying saber, but I assume you mean Chinese saber, so you mean a Dao. They're going to call it Chinese saber. Where are they? If you're going synthetic, let me see. What is the weight on one of these? 1 pound, 2 ounce. That should not be too problematic. And everything I've seen of these weapons, this line of trainers, is probably right. Ming discard. Needs to be metal. Now, see, that is challenging because most of the wushu, most of the martial arts demo swords are made of wushu steel, which wobbles. Wrong shape. Okay. I'm confused. I thought it was Chinese saber, but if you're going a straight guard, if you could send me a picture, Cindy, I'm using a cardboard one for practice. That's fine. That's wonderful. I've used a lot of cardboard weaponry. Looking at thicker Dao? Yeah, I want to know what she's... Yeah, please. And hopefully I will put this back on and hopefully it will work. Or do that. I'm going to close all so it's not running anything but Messenger. And I will literally bring you up to make sure that I can through Facebook Messenger, if you please. And I will be able to look at the picture, and then if I need to hold it up, I can. So, no watch. But yes. Let me find out what type of saber she's looking for, and then we'll check. Because I really do want to help you guys as much as I can. And while that's going on, I will go back to the trainers. Not secure. Oh, I see what happened there. Typo happened. Maybe? Anyway. Yeah, see, the problem is, wait, we might, oh, that's twin. We need a single. There we go. Well, wait, you know what? I'm going to come back here because that's firm blade. That might. Okay, I'm going to leave that here because it's funny. And I am going. Oh yes, and thank you guys for sharing. Well, while we do that, I'm going to peruse here because there was something else I wanted to show some people while I was going through. The new version of the Spadroon that they have right now is looking, wow, that typo was legendary. I mean, that was, you want to see my hands going off on their own. Should be there. There we go. Wow. The new Spadroon, here we go. Okay, Cindy, I can't access the, okay. I can't access links that are given in the chat through StreamYard. So it actually won't even let me cut and paste them, which is, oxtail. Yeah. One moment. So what you are looking for is stop screen. 1 second. Present. Share screen. This. Alrighty. I did want to put up that the let me make sure. Yep. Oh, we're overthinking it. You're only doing demos. You should. No, it has to be metal. It has to be metal. So then what we can do is for 52.94.5, this is probably the best we're going to find if that is the proper shape. A couple of them. Okay. Well, see, I have to bring up the image, so that anyone watching this gets to find out what's being talked about. And from the site you recommended, it would be 54. Let me check something. I go here and I go Amazon. Oxtail dough. Look at that. Now, you need a trainer. So we'll just add trainer on here. I'm trying to find it as cheaply. Here we go. As possible, because that's what we do. And I am not seeing a steel one from Amazon. The reason I wanted to check is because they have some truly ridiculous sales right now. Okay, that looks like the critter. So yeah, right now the best I am seeing is this fella. Should be 52 through them. I would check Martial Arts Mart and a few others, but it says it's the stiff blade, and the nice thing is you can adjust the blade length to be comfortable for you. And I don't. Yeah, I think you could. This should serve pretty well. I'm thinking as short as you are comfortable with to keep the weight down. Could also check WLE.com. Let's go. Wing lamb. Oh, okay. Do they have a search engine? That I do. I'm trying to get a scan for the price, and boy, some of these are spicy. Mm-hmm. Because I'm pretty sure I had a wooden one of these that I gave away at one point because I had somebody who was just in love with the Dow. And weapons do occasionally come through. Gotta love Meow Dow. They don't get enough love, in my opinion. But yeah, I am not really seeing anything jumping. Yeah, the Southern Dows. Oh, I've watched that one. This right here, I'd buy. But hunting from, yep. Okay, so it looks like we found the best option. It's about $52. I hope that's not excessive for you. And that brings us back to the Spadroon. Yes. Of course you should. Thesis, that's what the internet is all about, is stealing ideas. Absolutely. That's part of why I'm doing this so early. But one thing I noted is they took this design and they actually thinned the blade down substantially to make it a little nicer. So this is something I would consider if I had the money to throw at Trey or Joey. Absolutely. And, let me know because there are a few other places we can dig around. But I quite like what they've done with this. And if it had a proper cross guard, maybe keyring grip, I'd be in seventh heaven. But what did I see? Oh, the other day. I'm sorry, I went through and I was looking at these. There are some new shields that are coming out I'm excited about, but they're still the experimental phase. We have the Denbong. For the Fiore nut in your life, all the joys of Purple Heart Armory Chibi Fiore stickers down for $1. And the Partisan head is going for $24. If you're going to do spear work, these are very nice. Speaking of, I'm trying to find out if there's, because he has these odd cane shafts. If I can get my paws on these hickory cane shafts, I can make some exquisite walking and fighting canes. So that is something I would love to be able to do, but I'm going to have to reach out to Christian and see what he has. Now, going back here, if I go here, go A. A is for Amazon. Poly. Pro. So now, there are, like I said, the reason I started talking about these are the fact that the Black Friday sales are hitting, which means some of these trainers, now you have to ignore things like the live steel trainer here, are actually coming down to quite pleasant prices. And for example, they've got $10 off the katana trainer that I actually bought. Same branding, but it's down to 40 here. I saw it 36 elsewhere, as in within Amazon. So I know a couple people were looking for those. I know some people were looking for the Lord of the Rings redos, and they have Orcrist, Sting, and they have actually got a version of Aragon sword. Anyway, so if you really wanted to, oh, hi Dawn. If you really wanted to have something movie themed and you wanted to spar with it, that's probably a good way to do it. Now, I saw some other deals in here. This makes me happy because, yes, they're technically Ninjato because they're awful straight to be katana. But they are starting to do sets that come with the sheaths. And if there's one thing I can ask of anybody, it is that they train from the draw. Found the rules. Saber. Oh, okay. Here we go. Let me come back up here because I'm getting distracted. Minimum length for the saber and straight sword must be the tip of the reach and top of the ear when held at the sides. Requires the tip of the weapon reach the companion when held at the sides. Okay. Gotcha. That's an interesting measuring system, but I can see why they'd go with that. That's not a bad way to scale it. So what you're talking about would be... Okay, I have to kind of long myself. So it has to do... Hi, we're going to look up for a second. Pardon the light. If I am holding this in any position, this fits almost perfectly. Like I said, this blade length is also very close to my short line. So hold the hilt from the guard, point up, tip has to be top of the ear. So this is, like I said, almost exactly, if I get it like this, exactly the right length for me, which I concur. I've just never used that measure. Oh, hi. Guys, come here. You don't need to worry about what's going on back there. This is fascinating. I'm enjoying the look into what you guys have been working on. And I'm glad that Thesis can help with the supplying. I'm just making sure that anything that happens can get, if it's going to be discussed, I can show at least options for anyone who may watch this and be interested. And with my internet, if you ever wonder why sometimes it takes me a while to respond to a message, I just got sent this message. Okay, so yes, that actually is one of my favorite styles. I quite like that. It's a pretty standard measurement for Chinese. Like I said, I'm a Western guy. I've done some, But I haven't done a lot of the Chinese in the settings. It's basically stuff I've picked up through skill exchanges, which I recommend everyone do. I just had to visualize what you were talking about. I'm like, that makes sense. Now, I'm sorry, my brain is a little derailed. I had seen some deals, and I'm trying to remember the trainers that people have asked about so that I can make sure that you guys get to see them. And this Laredo trainer is one you guys have seen on seen me spar with for a long time, which is the dead center, because I realized okay, let me look at something. Entire screen. That's what's going wrong. There we go. Now, this is a very competent and really one of the better chef's knife style trainers if you want to train with something that will be equivalent to something you have. And I have several of these European long. They keep changing names. Oh, other patterns. Let me see. Because now I'm interested. Okay, this is what I am looking for. I have had a couple of these. They are quite pleasant. And they're also the second. Oh, okay. Not quite the second least expensive. What do we have here? A very nice model of a European longsword. Hook swords for $80. And that's more of a fantasy sword for $44. The other version of the fantasy sword, grip, some Indian swords. We'll call it a gladius, which at $29 isn't bad. And that's, for a hoplite sword at $16 is really, that's a good price for that trainer. I recognize the company. It's the same company that I've seen all over, so we know there's the maker's mark. Oh, yes. Purple Heart's Rondell trainers are fabulous. Did you get the set with the book, or just the trainers, Kitty? Rondell's it's an interesting fighting technique. Hi, Joe. Yes. Let me go back. I want to show you something so that you can show it to Trelena, because she might actually really like it. Bam, bam. Give me a sec, because it should bring my whole screen up, which means once it's done clicking around. So I wanted to make sure that you guys got to see this. There we are. They've actually taken their spadroon. Oh, trainers and book. Okay. So how did you feel about that? Like I said, Rondell daggers are an interesting fighting style and very grapply. So I'd love to know what your take on the style was, because some people have found it rather aggressive. Some people really like it. I got to play with it with one of our Meyer folks quite a bit, actually. But they actually thinned the blade, pulled the weight back on the spadroon, and actually has a great guard. So I'm thinking, your lovely wife might actually like one of these. Yes, I'm trying to help you guys shop for the trainers. Now, if we go back, actually we're here. If I go cup, hilt, break here, I will show you something fascinating if it does what it's supposed to do. Like I said, we're having, what do you mean no products match my criteria? Oh, I typoed. Oh, I'm the worst typist on the planet. Taco Circus. That's Interesting, because it's not coming up under. That's fine. That's fine. That is fine. Where did they hide it? Here we go. I found the ultimate boffer. I found the absolute ultimate buffer for what we do if you really wanted to mess with your wife. I feel like I need to buy the taco tray. Oh, okay. They didn't was it for you? Can you give me a breakdown on what felt wrong about it? And yeah, I can understand needing a taco tray case for Dawn. That sometimes a good name works. But yes, this is their version of a fairly quality boffer cup hilt rapier. I would very much like to get a couple of those, but they're a little expensive. So I figured I would show you for them. Let me come full screen for a bit. But see, I found rondelle fighting to be very grapply, lots of hooking and pulling in, and it really felt akin to karambit, believe it or not. But then again, that's still both ice pick grip knife work, and I've never been fond of ice pick grip knife work. I can do it, but if I'm grabbing something, huzzah, says Dave. You know, so if I'm grabbing something in an ice pick grip, it's going to be very much a improvised. This is not somewhere I want to be, because as a short guy, my reach is limited. I'd far rather have it where I can present it and gain the extra reach and control. But that's just how I handle things. This is, of course, my K-Bar Tactical Spork, because everyone should have a K-Bar Tactical Spork. And yes, actually, these things were on sale. Where did I see these on sale? Oh, God. American Pipe Dream Outfitters. A wonderful military surplus store that I bought some gear for my Nerf habit. I'm going to have a nice loadout because it was like $6. But finding the right gear for the person in your life really does take investigation. You need to know what kind of armor they want. Oh, absolutely. Now, see, I am very much inclined to what would be considered a Joe staff. I very much like about a 4-foot stick because I usually carry about a 4 to 5 foot stick everywhere I go. Ooh, my net is being very bad. Sorry about that. So it's a lot of it's a matter of tailoring. Sorry. Oh God, I am just all over the place today. This is what happens when my plans get derailed. No, it was too aggressive for me. And yeah, that is way too. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Way too aggressive. You need something. Because as I recall, you're on the taller side of things, or at least relative to me. I'm 5'8", 5'7", 5'8", depends which leg you measure. But yeah, I could see you wanting a lighter, faster. I've seen some of the Dow that might work real well for you. You're 5'11". Oh, Dave's 5'11", so you have no problem. You're still considered short on the side of the people I used to fight with, but 5'11" makes life a lot easier to arm. Okay, so 5'11's looking at 40-inch rapier blades, real comfortable for you. anything shorter than that's going to be comfortable for you, especially if you're using a concussive sword. Dave, do you have any preferences? I don't know your background other than you're Texan, so I assume you can operate a firearm. But I don't know your sword or related base weapon. But I used them with my student Ruby to get her used to having a weapon in her hands. Excellent. And there's a lot to be said for training to make a weapon that you may not necessarily prefer go. Because while I can't always speak in terminology, I get tangled up in the names. I can pick up any weapon basically and make it go. And I have also found that putting anything in someone's hand will both make them remember that their hands are there. The only sword I've used is Texas Renaissance Festival. Okay, you've been to the Texas Ren Fair. That's great. A buddy of mine, actually one of my patrons, Steve Augusta, not Steve Augusta. No, he's not a patron. He's a business contact. Steve Clausen does work with Boss Blades, and I think they do that Ren Fair. He also attends frequently. It's a very good Ren Fair. It's one of those that's on my list if I could ever get out to travel. Okay, well, if there's any you've had interest in, I can point you in some good ways. I think I'm catching what you're saying. She grew up sheltered, so we had to start from the ground up. I don't know how much to say, but needlessly, it was bad. That can happen. And I thank you for working with her. Hopefully, she was able to build some confidence. Hopefully, she was able to build some competence. And it's very good that you're helping build people towards that. But yes, you need something light and fast. I'd almost be tempted to lean you towards either certain types of Dao or a Shamshir. Shamshir. What a lot of people would call a scimitar, but the narrow-bladed ones. So a very light saber, a court sword, actually. A court sword or a so-called small sword might be really good for you because you need to be able to get in and get out quickly. Anytime you have my messenger feed, and I've had to help some people who have had that kind of upbringing and training, both in behaviors that are detrimental to them. And yes, court sword would be excellent for Kitty, from what I've heard. It's one of those, I can diagnose usually what the perfect sword for somebody would be if I could see them move. I've been building a mental Kitty, and don't take it that way, for our conversations, but she needs something quick to draw, lightweight, in, out, so probably thrust-based so that she can stay the heck away from the actual combat. Eventually, it would be sword and dagger, or court sword and poniard. So an offhand weapon that looks a bit like this, but is actually edged. I've tried to get her to watch you, but she's still trying to get out of that mindset. That's okay. That is okay. If I could be of any service to her or to you, if you need me to speak to her in a like Discord chat or something like that, we can work something out. Oh, Zelda's a great game, and you can get replicas of that to train with too. See, I have this crazy idea that everybody should be able to make a short weapon, a short weapon like a knife go, make a something machete length go, make something like a broomstick / spear go, and then make something with a weight to it go, because that's the vast majority of your systems that you're going to encounter. And I tend to take the styles I've looked at and studied, and I put them in the comparison of all the others, and I look for what they agree on. I'm glad Thesis was able to help her. I'm always kind of, dress up with Zelda as Zelda with the shield and sword. Now I've actually made replicas, a replica sword and shield not too far off of that. I made them for Cassandra from Soul Calibur, and it was a modified version of one of her shields and one of her short swords. And yeah, small folks do look best. I'm kidding. I know, as Link from Zelda. But just the trick with that is finding something that's comfortable. But yeah, if you are interested, Dave, tell me. Start telling me what movies that have sword fighting in it you like. What calls to you, and we can work through finding something that works. If you want to do sword and shield is something we can do. I can recommend manuals. There are books I didn't get to, and we're almost out of our hour, that are on sale that, let me see if I can find them. One moment. Let's buy manuals. Where did... Let's just do this, because there are a couple books I wouldn't mind acquiring. I saw a DVD I nearly flipped. I wonder if she would like that. She might. I've been told similar things, so I look at someone, decipher what weapon would be exit. Even if they fought it for years, glances in Foxy's direction. Yeah, I've had people brought at times from all over the country, actually all over the world. People have reached out to try to figure out what style would work for them. And throughout the SCA, that was something I was able to do, because when I was instructing in the SCA, I was light, but it was okay. You've shown interest in fencing. Let's figure out the proper blade length. Let's figure out the proper rigging. Let's figure out the proper master to put you towards. And I mean, that took a lot, because you had to look through, you had to at least have a vague working knowledge of everybody from Thibault to Marzano to Fiore and Capofera and my man. What? Oh, she might, kitten. With her history, she needs something that will give her some distance from the opponent. Yeah, I can bring that back up. We go padded. I'm just going to hit padded because there are only so many weapons, and that should bring it up, because it doesn't always bring up what I want. Here we go. It is a little pricey, but actually for both of you, though it's lightweight and it's a lot safer than a harder trainer. So if you're going to do something buffery and you have the funds, I would really recommend going in and getting the padded rapier. It's very good. Now, spears, I'm all about spears. And that is something you might want to consider as well, Kitty. Two-handed weapons, again, a spear or a staff are wonderful. I thought, yes, actually, Thibault does cancel out Capofera because Thibault gets the heck off the line of attack where Capofera lives and dismisses him mightily. Quite fond of both Princess Bride and the Spanish mentality. But a lot of it, see, again, to help your friend, I would have to know more about her general build, her attitude, things like that. Great show heading for Livestream with Ron Fitzgerald. J-Numbers Hugs. Have fun, Sarah. Like I said, I am sorry things ran a little late today and have been this has been a show that's been a little off. I had some stuff that happened just before the show, and it did rattle me just a touch. I apologize for that. But it's 9 o'clock, and I am starting to hit that line where I need to eat something a bit more than I have, and I need to drink a bunch more. So please keep throwing your comments in the thing. Of course, Thesis is going to quote Princess Bride. That he is right where he believes it to be. And I'm pretty sure that Thesis is not left-handed either. But with that, guys, I will talk to you later. Like I said, I need to get something to drink. And next week, we will see what our topic's going to be, because I have some people asking some questions, and we may get into it. Had a couple things get a little hijacked today, so we came off. He's not, but I am. Hello. I love lefties. Lefties are wonderful to fight, and they're wonderful to deal with because they throw righties right off if you haven't fought somebody left-handed. But we will see you guys later. Guys, do your drills. Keep your guard up. Be kind to yourself and each other. And as always, friends, thank you for supporting your local Swordmaster. I'll be back next week for another episode of the Historical Fencing Guild live stream. A little more together. We'll talk about that and some other things. We'll go into some armor suggestions for Christmas and such, because we got taken off, unless, again, you guys throw a nice comment to me. And if not, we will address whatever questions or comments you have. All right? Have a good one, Cindy. You rock. Talk to you guys later.